right, good morning, guys. Okay, so this morning I asked you to construct a couple of sentences, a simple, a compound, and a complex. Here are my examples, all right? Of course, your examples will be a little bit different. However, all right, they should look similar in terms of the colors that are represented here. And then also they should be about the movie Freedom Riders to some degree. That was our shared topic, all right? So for my first one, for my simple sentence, I just simply said Miss G is a teacher. Miss G is the subject, is the predicate, all right? And so I highlighted those accordingly, okay? Number two is compound. So I have two independent clauses joined together with my blue glue here, all right? And the glue that I opted to use was a comma fanboys, all right? You could have used a semicolon or you could have used a conjunctive adverb, all right, with a semicolon and a comma, all right? I chose to do this. And remember, our check here is we cover the glue and we should have two simple sentences or independent clauses on both sides. So let's cover that. Cover the and. The class is diverse. That can stand on its own. It's got its own subject, class. It's got its own predicate, is, okay? But more importantly, it can stand on its own to prove that it's independent, all right, which is what we need for compound sentences. Remember, compound equals IC plus IC correctly joined with the appropriate kind of glue, and you have three choices there. My second independent clause, they are divided, all right. They is the subject, are is the predicate, okay. They are divided, can stand alone. Now, some people think that, oh, well, we don't know who they are. Yes, we do, because they is identified in the previous independent clause. They is referring back to class, all right? So it most certainly can stand alone in terms of meaning, and it most certainly can stand alone in terms of being grammatical, all right? Number three, complex. We need a DCIC or ICDC, okay? So we need an independent clause and a dependent clause, all right? I opted to go with DCIC, and if you remember from our earlier work, when I do that, it's out of its natural order, so I have to separate, all right, the DC and the IC, all right? And so I will begin with my DC. And for the DC, you had to bold the dependent marker word, which is though here, all right? And then I had to underline the whole DC. Now, because it's a clause, it also has a subject and a predicate. Any construction that's a clause has to have a subject, has to have a predicate, otherwise it's not a clause, all right? So it has a sub and a pred, but because of the dependent marker word though, it cannot stand alone. I cannot say though they are divided now, all right? That is not a complete thought. So this is a dependent clause, all right? To have a complex sentence though, I have to attach my dependent clause to an independent clause, which is they will become connected later, all right? It has a sub, it has a pred, all right? And it, unlike its DC partner here, it can stand alone. I can say they will become connected later. All right. So with that, hopefully you had some success constructing sentences today. All right. I am less concerned about your accurately identifying the whole predicate here. Some of you probably use constructions in which you have helping verbs. We have done very little to talk about that and work through that. All right. I am more concerned about whether you have, when it comes to independent clauses, whether they can stand alone or not. Okay. All right. So with that, hopefully this helps a little bit. If you need something, reach out. Other than that, kiddos, happy Wednesday, and I will see you a little later, either in Zoom or in person, on Zoom or in person. Peace.